Well, hello, wonderful fifth graders. Mr. Wayner here, reaching out with a review of Unit 3. A lot of these questions that I share with you are actually test questions. So by watching this video, you have a little bit of a hand up on some of your other classmates. The first problem that we're going to do is we're going to convert, or problems I should say, is we're going to convert improper fractions where the numerator is greater than the denominator to a mixed number. Let's look at the number 14 fifths. If I were to draw this visual, if I can draw fifths here, it's pretty rough, but you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a whole. 5 fifths is one whole. Good to reinforce. We have another 5 fifths. That equals one whole, remember. Then we have 4 pieces left. So we have 4 fifths. So I have one whole, 2 wholes, and 4 fifths. So 2 and 4 fifths. Now there's an easier way to do this. We can look at 14 fifths and say, how many times can I pull out 5 out of 14? Well, if I counted by 5, 10, I'm at 2. I pulled it out 2 times. I have 4 pieces left, so 4 fifths. Let's try another problem. For example, 21 fourths. How many times can I pull 4 out of 21? Well, I can do that 5. I know my multiplication facts. 4 times 5 is 20. That leaves me with one leftover piece. 1/4 remains. I believe that one of the hardest concepts to learn is to borrow using fractions. If I take away 5 minus 3, I could do it. I could say a 2. But I still need to take 1/5 more. Now there's a lot of different approaches you could take to this problem. The way that I've taught in class is that we want to convert this. So even though we don't have a fraction right here, technically you could say there's 0 fifths, because remember, we like our denominators to be the same here. I can take away one whole. I can turn the 5 into a 4. I took a whole away. Now I know that 5 fifths equals one whole. And why say 5 fifths? Why not 6/6? Well, the denominators here are 5, and we love to keep those denominators the same. So I add my 5 fifths back on. 4 and 5 fifths minus 3 and 1/5. Now I can subtract the wholes. 4 minus 3 is 1, and 5 fifths minus 1/5 is 4 fifths. It's in simplest terms, so that is my final answer. There will be times where you need to borrow after you've made the denominators the same. So for example, 4 and 1/6 minus 2 and 2/3. I need to make these denominators the same first. That's always my first job. Are the denominators the same is the question I always ask myself. So how can I make the 6 and the 3 the same? Well, can I do the smaller number times something to get 6? Absolutely. The question that I'd like for you to think in your mind, 3 times what equals 6? I'll give you some time to think about it. Hopefully you came up with 3 times 2. We multiply both the numerator and the denominator. Do not forget, rewrite the entire problem. 4 and 1/6 minus 2 and 4/6. So now, can I do 1/6 minus 4/6? I can't. I need to borrow. I need to take a whole away from the 4, turn it into a 3. I add the 6/6 because I took the whole away. 1 whole equals 6/6. Back to the fraction. So I have 7/6 minus 2 and 4/6, which equals 1/3/6. Well, wait, can I simplify that? Make it smaller? I can. I can divide both the 3 and the 6 divided by 3. 1 and 1/2. Okay. Some people would say, how did you notice that you could do 3 divided by 3 and 6 divided by 3? Well, I know my 3's. If I count by 3's, 3 and 6, I hit them both. Okay. The last thing we're going to review are conversions. When we convert from a decimal from a fraction to a decimal and a percent. This part is when you need to use your calculator. There are problems such as, and I'll do one on the side, 3/10. We always say our favorite number is 100 with fractions. So I ask myself, how can I multiply 10 times what will get me 100? 10 times 10, and I do the same thing to the numerator. 30 hundredths, which is 30% or 0.3. Now, not all of the problems are that easy. I can't take 47 and multiply it by a number to get 100. So I take out my calculator, and on my calculator, I type in 9 divided by 47. 9 divided by 47, which I'm going to just write the first four numbers after the decimal is 0.1914. Remember now, when we convert to a percent from a decimal, we move the decimal over 2 spots, so it's 19.14%. Do the same thing for 1/13. We find that the decimal is, let me type it in my calculator, 0.0769. To convert to a percent, I move it over 2 spaces, so it's 7.69%. Don't forget, if there's ever a repeating number, to draw that repeated line over the repeating section. I hope that helped you study as we reviewed just a couple of the many topics in Unit 3.